Hello and welcome to part one of the Autos and Airwaves Podcast Christmas Special. Of course, we're back with our old friend Tish Chatten. Tish, thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas all the way from
Thank
England.
you for having me.
Of course, you are dressed very properly for Christmas with a Christmas tree on your head. Interesting
Well, as
headband.
you know, there's no Thanksgiving festivities here. It's straight Christmas.
That is true, yes. Which I don't know why you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, because of course the Pilgrims came from Plymouth.
We definitely will eventually. As you know, we inherit anything that's big in America, so I'm sure it will come.
We've had Thanksgiving forever. Anyway, I am wearing a Christmas thing. I don't know if you can see it. It's a tie. It's I don't know. It's jingle bells. Ha ha ha. It's a lovely tie. I'm gonna give my cousin a run for his money because he always dresses up very fancy when we go to this Christmas brunch at the country club my grandparents belong to. I'm gonna give him a run for his money. He wears these really crazy Christmas pants. One pants leg is red, the other pants leg is green. This guy's gonna give him a run for his money. Unfortunately, he actually already saw the tie because he helped me put it on because I can't tie a tie. 21 years old, I can't tie a tie. Regardless, yes, this is the Autos and Airwaves Christmas Special, and the whole point of this is I chose some stuff, automotive related stuff that I would like for Christmas. And the guests that I have on also do the same. So I guess I'll start off because this is part one, and it's going to be all compiled into one big long episode, just like Top Gear Christmas Special. I also apologize for how I sound. I'm battling a sinus infection. I know I sound like shit, but I'm a man and I will soldier on. I know. So the first thing that I chose that I would like for Christmas that I am not going to get would be this. Share screen. The 2008 Mark V Volkswagen Golf R32. These were limited edition here in the US. They only made 5,000. This is number 130. It's in pretty good condition for what it is. I mean, I've seen cleaner ones, but I've also seen ones that are a lot worse. Only modification it has is painted wheels, which look a bit tacky. The interior is acceptable. It's seen better days, but it's certainly not horrible. It's got 92,000 miles. Of course, being the R32, it's got a 3.2 liter VR6, 250 horsepower. They all came with a 6-speed DSG dual clutch automatic. And yeah, it's a very lovely car. All-wheel drive, it's Haldex all-wheel drive, so it's not real all-wheel drive, but all finished in this lovely, what's the blue called? Deep blue metallic, very Volkswagen sounding name.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you like a Volkswagen, so why don't you tell me what you think?
Yeah, well, I obviously rate it highly. I nearly bought one, probably like a year and a half ago, I reckon.
Really?
We actually, we actually had one come in as part exchange at Quest where I worked. And I can't remember what it was coming in as part exchange against, but it was a one owner car, and it had 52,000 miles. And it was they wanted £6,000 for it, which didn't sound a lot. So I went to go and see it, and it had one owner, but that one owner had just not ever loved it, so it was kind of dinged on every side. I know, and I was so like, I was thinking that it was going to be pristine because it's had one owner, it's only done 52,000 miles. I thought, like, how, like, surely it's going to be in amazing condition.
Yeah.
And it literally, it had dings on every pretty much panel. All the wheels needed doing. All the tires needed replacing. It had bits of badge and trim missing. And all of that stacked up. Like, it still was okay money to have all of that stuff done. But what put the nail in the coffin for me is that it hadn't ever seen a Volkswagen dealer, or it hardly ever seen any dealer, to be honest. And I know with these as well that they haven't they don't have to have the cam belt, or they haven't got a cam belt that needs to be replaced, but any potential buyer expects it to be done anyway at 5 years or sort of around however many miles, and that hadn't been done. And yeah, that's when I chose to just walk away. But it was difficult. And also these things are like, well, I don't know if this is very much for you, but the road tax is like £600 a year here.
Yeah, we don't really have anything like that. You pay like a registration fee in some states, not Ohio where I live. You have to pass like an emissions test every year.
Sure.
But other than that, you buy a car, you pay whatever it is, $100 for your registration every year, and that's it. You don't have tax on that.
Yeah. See, it fell into the really expensive tax brand for that year, and so it was
move to the US where everything's cheap.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
actually, you don't want to move here.
I know that you guys are complaining about fuel prices at the moment, but ours are, I nearly pass out every time I fill my car up.
Yeah.
And that was the one other thing about these. Apparently, they absolutely burn through fuel.
It's a 3.2 liter V6. I mean, what do you expect? It's funny.
I mean, the noise they makes it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing sounds quite like a VR6. A really narrow angle V. They actually they don't really do that engine anymore in Europe, do they? They normally aspirated, because
they don't know.
I think the only car that still gets it, at least to my knowledge, in the whole world for Volkswagen is the US Atlas that we get here. Big SUV, still MQB.
Yeah,
that you can get a 4-cylinder turbo is like the base engine, and then you can spend more money. You can get a 3.6 liter VR6. It only makes like an extra 40 horsepower over the. I think the V6 is like 280 horsepower. The 4-cylinder like 240. But yeah, you could get it in the Passat, the US spec Passat, which Volkswagen dropped. So, the only VW sedan sold here in the US, you have Jetta and
your favorite car, the Jetta.
Arteon. The Jetta. There's a personal reason why, but we won't talk about that now. So the next thing I chose, which we are recording this on December 2nd. Yesterday, December 1st, I went to order this Christmas present for myself, and I can't have it, unfortunately, or at least not yet. And with these are illuminated door tread plates for my Defender. Granted, they are a lot nicer than the ones that are currently on the car, which look exactly like this, but they are gray, and it just has Defender embossed into the plastic. This one is metal with, they light up. They look really cool, and they're expensive, but you know what? That's fine. Why isn't this?
It's the little details sometimes, isn't it?
And now I'm stuck here. Anyway, yes, it's that. And so I went to order them, and at least currently here in the US, this is according to my parts guy, that you cannot get the lunar interior, which is the one I have, which is it's acorn beige seats, but everything else is lunar gray. So the floors are lunar gray. It's this is lunar. And they only have ebony, which is the black one in the US right now. So I could get black ones, but that'd just look weird. So I will wait until the gray ones become available in this country. And that's going to be my Christmas. And I know the other gift my parents got me because they did a horrible job of hiding it. The Swiss Army knife. So I open up this Christmas. I'm going to open up a Swiss Army knife. And that's my only gift. It'll be fine though. That's when you don't want anything or can't think of anything, anything's fine with me. So the last thing I want, which is not happening, but I'd love to. Surprise, surprise. Jaguar F-Type R.
It makes a return.
In British Racing Green, tan and ebony interior. Just perfect. Gray wheels. Of course, you have to get the red brake calipers.
Of course.
I did not get the tan dashboard because tan dashboards reflect in the windshield really badly. Like it's bad. I wish the seats were a little bit more tan, but that's fine. I would still rock.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, it's the same spec as my mother's Discovery. It's you can't beat British racing green over tan. It's the perfect color combination, especially for this car. I will say I would not like this tan with the green that I have on my Defender. That's I think that just doesn't look quite right. Tan with a bright green. So I'm happy with what I have. But yes, so I'll turn it over to you.
Sure.
What do you want for Christmas, Tish? I will. What does car Santa Claus? What's on your list of cars? Santa Claus.
Well, as you know, as of my most recent video with the above, I can't really keep that car for much longer. So it's time to think what's going to replace that car. And to be honest, there is not really any other car that really has piqued my fancy this year at all in terms of my favorite, which are always little hot hatches. And that's got to be the UK's Top Gear 2022 car of the year. And that's the Hyundai I20n.
And
yeah,
bear with me.
Which
there
I got
to
test it.
That's the wrong one. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, I got to test it earlier this year. I'm hoping I'm going to get a long-term test of it as well. But yeah, it's pretty. I fell in love with it a lot, really. And actually, I couldn't believe how much better this car in the interior is than the i30n. I hadn't realized how outdated the i30n had now become.
Really?
And the interior is just so much better. Yes, it is a little bit cheap in places. But that's kind of
a picture.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing with hot hatches, isn't it? Sometimes they are slightly cheaper feeling when it comes to the smaller cars.
Cheap speed.
Yeah,
costs are cut somewhere.
Absolutely.
But you still have now. Is this what engines? And I don't really know a whole lot about it. Obviously, it's not sold here in the U.S. I have driven the Veloster N, which is based on the i30n, same running gear and everything. And I loved that thing. I mean, that thing was really fun. I've driven both the manual and the dual clutch, and it would be a really hard to see. Like if I bought that a Veloster N, it would be really hard choice between the manual and the automatic, because the automatic was really, really good.
Sure.
But hey, get a hot hatch, you have to get a 6-speed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course, definitely. And that's one of the big reasons that I kind of loved it so much was, it had a really good 6-speed manual gearbox. Yeah. And it sounded great as well. That's the thing with Hyundai's in the UK. I think everything else is starting to sound rubbish, and Hyundai still just sounds fantastic. So that
was a real cough.
True. That is true.
But
what is it? It's a. Do you know what? I drove it so long ago that I actually now can't remember what it did. What engine it did have in it. I want to say 1.6 litre turbo engine, 204 horsepower. So slightly more than my current car at the moment. This
directly competes with something like a Focus or a Fiesta ST.
Absolutely.
It's along those lines. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And you say it was a 1.4 cylinder.
6.
No, this is no way. This is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder, right? It's not a 6-cylinder.
No. Oh no, no. Sorry, I thought you meant liter.
No, it's a 4. Yeah. It's not a 3 like in the Fiesta.
Oh no,
or the Yaris. Which that's we don't get any hot hatches. We don't get the small hot hatches anymore in the US. They all pulled out of the market. We get hot hatch, we get Golf. Like I said before, we only get the GTI and the R in the US. There's no normal Golf. We get the Veloster N. There is a new one coming next year.
Mm-hmm.
power plant from the GR Yaris is going into the Corolla hatchback here. So we're going to be getting a
Yes,
GR Corolla. Actually, Toyota very sneakily teased that not too long ago. I think it was last week or the week before I saw something. So it's going to be coming out really soon. And what else? I think that's a Civic Type R we get. Civic Si, which that's still bigger than but that's only a sedan. Regardless. And there is also a newcomer, kind of more a premium hot hatch will be the new Acura Integra. That I'm looking really forward to. That's going to be it's still based on a Civic, but it's going to have the 1.5 turbo high output engine from the SI, 6-speed manual. It's going to start at like $30,000 for a base model. It's going to be like the entry level luxury car from Acura, which you don't get in the UK. And for a long time, you were not missing out. But now you kind of are, because they made a good comeback. And with this Integra, it's not the old Integras of past by any means, but it's a solid car. And it was a Honda prototype car, so it's 99.5% production ready. That's a fun car. What else do you have? Yeah.
So next up, I think I'm going to probably choose some upgraded suspension for the Lupo. It's something that is next up on my list of things to do. Probably not going to be fitted until the summer, because it's going to be tucked away in the garage now, I think. But yeah, it definitely requires some love when it comes to the suspension department. I mean, those cars were never fitted with half decent suspension to start with anyway. So now that it's 20 years old.
I noticed in your video, I wasn't completely surprised, because you did that video recently, you replaced the shocks, and it's got a torsion beam, in the back. It's not independent suspension, which I'm saying I'm surprised, but really I'm not surprised. Something like that cheap, of course, it would have a torsion beam rear suspension, which VW on the Jetta years ago had a torsion beam, and then they went to a rear independent suspension, and then on the latest one they went back to the torsion beam to save money, and it made it drive not as well. GLI gets independent suspension, but another reason why I don't like the Volkswagen Jetta. No, so like, what are you thinking? Like, new springs, or lowering it, or just kind of like keeping the same look but just higher quality? So like, what kind of?
Yeah, I think if I'm going to be replacing the springs, the whole real, I'd like to do the whole suspension setup. But whilst I'm doing that, it's going to go a little bit lower. It won't go much. It won't be much, but it might as well. I always used to like my low cars. I don't want it so low because, now it's getting to 20 years old. I think you've got to be careful at the bottom and what you get caught on. And I definitely don't want to be causing any damage. And I'm not really interested in having it slammed to the floor anymore anyway. So, but yeah, we'll be going a little bit lower with it.
Yeah, why not?
But only aesthetically to make it look a little bit better. But in terms of just to upgrade the ride quality,
How it does that? Is it stiff? Is it more kind of like a stiff but very compliant, like how Volkswagen always have been? Or like, tell me more, because I've not driven.
Yeah, of course. Well, you can feel that it's sporty. It's got that play on it, but it is really comfortable, really, really comfortable. I think when me and Hannah went to the GTI Fest this year, she commented that it was the most comfortable car she's ever driven in. And it's
someone that
crazy.
worked for BMW for a while, who I'm sure has driven a 7 Series.
Well, I can imagine it just surprised her to what she was expecting. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun. But I think you can tell that it needs a suspension upgrade, because it is just slightly. Probably just slightly more cushioned than you'd expect out of a performance car.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's also a Volkswagen thing. They've always, they're sporty, but they're still very, very compliant, very composed. It's not going to break your back, which is why I'm a big advocate for DCC on any VW. And of course, now with the new GTI in the US, if you want DCC, you have to get the top of the line because that's just how they are. But yeah, I mean, why not go for it, right? It's I don't know, maybe you can lend me the keys to that next year when I'm across the pond.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
So,
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love you to see what you think.
Yeah,
because it is just something, completely that you never got. So
and for you guys, it's just a normal car. It's not anything
there's
fancy
something
special.
So lovable about it, and I think everybody that's kind of spent some time with it, it kind of steals your heart.
Has character.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So, well, I will hold you accountable to that. That might be the first ever VW, if I drive it, if I have the chance, might be the first ever VW that has character that I've driven. Because I love VW, but I've always, I've said this to you, I've said this to everyone, I've said this on the show. Volkswagen, Audi, I mean, basically every German car, they're just so good because they're engineered to perfection. They're naturally going to be good. But they just they lack something you can't put your finger. And that's why I love Jaguar Land Rover, because are they as good, as anything from Germany? You could say so, but not really. There's things that they do that are just different, and I don't know how you feel, but there's just something about them. Even my Defender, there's something I cannot put my finger on. That I get in it and I have a big smile on my face whenever I press that start button. It's just like it's special. Whereas I drive my dad's Audi, fantastic car, turn it on, just calm, relaxed, comfort, but I don't think it's anything particularly special. It's just good because it's really good. But I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, Jesus. I still can't get over how I sound. I sound like, is this what COVID sounds like? I don't know. But yeah, and I know there was one last thing that big one and a very understandable one that I think every YouTuber could use, no matter how big or small you are. So what was that last present that you talked to me about?
Yeah, it'll be a new filming setup. I know I say camera, but we're going the whole filming setup, the whole shebang.
Camera, boom mic,
absolutely,
sound manager, camera, full out.
Yeah, the whole lot, please.
Call Hollywood.
A whole team of people.
Have them send out. Send everyone out from LA.
Those huge kits that they have put on the cars with the mounts with the for the rolling shots.
It's always those
360 cameras.
It's always a Cayenne. At least here in the US. Here in the US, it's always a Cayenne, because they need something that's fast enough, strong enough, and that could, maneuver in some tricky spots. And what better car to do that than a Porsche Cayenne? It's sporty. But yeah. So we will now move on to the next guest on the show. So Tish, thank you so much for coming on again. Me. Of course, Merry Christmas from my family to yours. And yeah, let's move on to the next person. So our next guest is our old friend, Andrew Shehata. Our first ever guest on the show is back for Christmas. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Alex. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Very
what's
welcome.
that on your tie?
Oh, it's can you see? That would be gin, and it's gin martinis and Santa Claus hats and jingle bells. It's nice. It's Vineyard Vines. You see, this is the point. It's jingle bells. Jingle bells. Yeah, this is the point where you're supposed to laugh.
Oh,
oh, for fuck's sake. That was all right. For everyone that doesn't know, that is the worst acting I've ever seen in my entire life. Coming from not just you, but me too. Like,
not my strong suit.
No. No, not at all. I've been told I'm good at stand-up comedy, but I cannot act. Anyway, so yes, Merry Christmas. It is Christmas time, filled with Christmas cheer and Christmas drinks on fancy ties. So I guess what's on your list for car Santa Claus? That's not a thing. That's not a thing, but
I wish it was.
Yes. I wish there was a car Santa Claus and I wish there was a watch Santa Claus.
Yes.
Because we could both go down the rabbit hole with that thing.
I would have a very long list.
Yes, so would I. Oh, also, can there be a Burberry Santa Claus as well? It just dresses up in the Burberry check instead of red and white. Like, yeah.
Wouldn't complain about that.
Neither would I.
First thing on my list is a 2021 M2 competition.
That is a solid car, and of course, you found that on Cars and Bids.
So this one's
It's the way to go.
Yeah, it really stands out to me. I love the blacked out look of it. I really want my next car to be all black, just so you guys know, but this one just checks every box basically, and I really don't like the way the new M2 looks, so it makes me value the new 2 Series chassis, but I think the previous model is much more beautiful in comparison, so it makes me value it even more now.
I agree with that. At first I hated the new 2 Series. When I first saw it, I didn't mind it, and then the more I looked in, it was like, God, this is the car that they could not stop designing. It was just too much. And now, the more I see it, it's not that bad. I actually saw one in person last week, and it looked a lot better in person, which is weird because the new iX looks a lot worse in person. Same with, in my opinion, with the M3 and M4, from the front at least. But the iX is hideous everywhere.
I've seen the new 2 Series a couple of days ago, and the eyes are like pointing outwards almost.
They
like
are.
The headlights looks like the Joker.
Yeah.
And the rear, the taillights, I mean, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. It just looks goofy. It doesn't even look like a BMW. It looks like kind of like a Buick, like Enclave, I think, those kind of taillights. Like, it's really strange, and I can't get behind it.
Didn't they ditch the Hofmeister kink?
Yeah, they're done with it, basically.
I mean, like, M2, it's small, but it's still there. You can see the Hofmeister kink.
Yeah, and like if you zoom out a little, I mean, the taillights in that car aren't beautiful, but I have nothing bad to say.
These are better.
I mean, they fit. I mean, it's not like a wide. It's a smaller car, so there's not a lot of space for like a big design, kind of like an M4 taillight or anything. I think it looks great with what they have.
Yeah,
and it's that same like familiar shape kind of with the other models they have.
Obviously, a BMW. The old M2. I mean, you look at that and there's no questioning what that car is. It's got the normal size kidney grills. It's got the angel eye headlights. It has the Hofmeister kink, and you can know it's the M car because it's it's wider. It's got a wider front and rear track. It's just it's got the mirrors that kind of go like that. And speaking of which, real quick, while we're on the subject of BMW, what on God's green earth is that XM?
There's things about it that I don't hate.
The interior, I think, looks cool.
Interior is really nice on it. When I first saw the car, I was kind of like, I mean, that's better than some of the other stuff. I mean, my initial reaction was like, it's not that bad, and then I kind of took a step back and I was like, okay, that's really bad.
Like, what is this? CNBC.
Yeah.
Like, what? And the fact that they're going to make this. I mean, I was talking to another person about this a couple weeks ago. That front grille, BMW went from the kidney bean grille, they had forever, to beaver teeth on the new M3 and M4, then the XM. They're not the XM, the iX. This I mean, you can't, at least I can't see it. That grill, it looks like a butt. They went from, they went from kidney grill to beaver grill to ass grill, literally.
Yeah, my first reaction, I was like, okay,
and it lights up.
It's not the beef. Well, I'm like, it's not the beaver teeth. And then I was like, okay, it looks fine. And then I was like, it really doesn't.
And of course, a giant ad for, oh, come on, just go away. I mean, it's, oh, did you see that video that they did about it?
I don't want to.
Oh no, the video they had on, like, it was like Instagram.
The rear.
Yeah, what on earth is that? And they say this is inspired by the M1. You know what's inspired by the M1? The two logos on the top and the back. That's the only thing that is inspired by the M1. That's it. This is not in any way, shape, or form related to that thing. And it's hideous. You know, this was designed for the Chinese market.
Okay, let's go look at a really good. Let's look at a good concept car. Type in the Quattro RS1 e-tron.
Is this the one that came out today?
Yeah, let's get some positive energy.
That's not it at all.
Oh, S1 e-tron. Okay. That auto car article,
yeah,
the first one.
The S1, not RS1. This looks cool.
Okay,
there of course, look who we have here, Ken Block.
Okay. That's a concept I want to see. Even if it's electric, I don't care. Look at that.
That's cool. The wheels, no thank you. But the rest of that, very cool looking. It's a modern day Quattro. But you know what it's missing? The sound of a 5-cylinder.
I mean, that should, if they made a 5-cylinder version of that, that'd be even better. But the fact that they created a real car that's working like that, you can't ask for much more.
No.
And if they had the white covers and the wheels like the original,
and it's even better with this driving.
Yeah.
So, Ken Block knows how to drive rally cars because that's his job. But no, the XM is like, oh god, yeah, it's bad. The video, I wonder if they have that video because it was bad. It was like 30 seconds too. Videos. Oh, XM. Maybe it was on Instagram. Oh. BMW M Instagram.
Oh, was it that Instagram thing down there? Okay, you'll get it.
Let's see. It's gonna make my. Hopefully, I'm still. Yeah, I'm starting it. It was a reel. Yes. But no, this isn't it.
Hopefully they deleted it.
No, oh, I think it's just normal BMW Instagram, not BMW M. Because it was just, first of all, that was like the teaser. How bizarre is that? I mean, that thing is just bizarre.
And like people are like, okay, make some more, high performance petrol cars, whatever. And then they're like, all right, you want this?
No one wanted this thing. Like who?
And it looks massive.
No, that's like still not it.
It looks like an X7 like platform car.
Maybe it was a video. Where was it? It was because it was so bizarre. This is it, I believe. I think. No.
The interior is nice though. I can't say anything bad about that really.
Well,
overall.
I will say that the interior is a bit interesting. The back is weird because the back of it, like that seat, it looks like it came out of a strip club.
I mean, I don't know if it'll actually have that kind of lighting, but
no, but with that quilted pattern, it's just weird. Anyway,
yeah,
we're way off topic. So M2, yes, that is a fantastic car. So I guess you want to move on to your first mod that you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
So on my S4, the exhaust tips are terrible. They're awful. Everyone has them on their S4s and S5s, and they corrode like just they're a little small and they corrode like seriously. You can't even clean them. They get just terrible. So
this is a great picture. Look, you can see the dude. Like you can't Photoshop that out. Like, come on.
No, that'd be so easy. You would just do a long exposure and put the light over it, but I digress. I just think a nice pair of stainless steel tips would be just
and they're cheap.
They're cheap and they really, enhance the look of the car, and they're much more durable. They'll be wider outlet, so they'll be maybe change the sound a little bit. So
yeah,
that's easy mod.
Let's go on to this next one, which is, maybe not for me, but it's your car. Do what you want.
I like the style of these wheels, like the multi-spoke, and they're float formed, so like they're not cast or anything. The price is really solid. They have some other styles that I like too, but these will be hard to clean. They'll get a ton of brake dust, but I think it's just a nice look overall because it kind of has that like M look almost. I just think it would match like some of the other designs of the car pretty well.
They don't work on a GLI. Actually, no, that's not even a G. That's an R line.
Yeah,
that's not even a GLI. Why would you put that on your? Oh God.
Yeah, my car has a lot of silver accents, and I think it would just complement it well.
Oh yeah, it would. It would. So let's move on to the next one.
So the last one is a little simple. It's just a transmission mount insert. A lot of people put it on the car. They say it like really does a great job to like sharpen up the shifts and the feel. There's like a kind of rubber band effect that some people describe the ZF 8-speed as, and when I run my tuning box, it definitely is there. Like you'll feel the kind of jump in the shifts and everything. So people say that this is like a good remedy for that, and just kind of makes the shifts all around just more pleasant.
A little like crisper.
Yeah,
which is I guess maybe that's the thing with tuned cars, because I've never driven a tuned car with ZF 8-speed. Every ZF 8-speed I've always driven has been stock, and I don't feel that effect at all in any of like the cars I've driven. But again, maybe I wasn't looking for it. So let's move on to the big one. This is dope. I mean, this is dope.
So if you want to open the link, I sent another one with the spec that I chose, but the
with the GTS.
Yeah,
I did not notice that.
So no, it's fine.
Come on, there we go. Open. It's loading, but we will. The joy of Zoom and technical difficulties. Nothing can ever go right.
No.
All right, here we go. Let's try this.
Okay, there we go. So I went with the Targa 4 GTS manual.
As you have to.
I think it's the first time they've offered a manual in a Targa in recent years. So it's really like a standout car, and the GTS package really does a great job of like enhancing the 911, without being a turbo, because it's basically the highest trim turbocharged all-wheel drive 911 you can get with a manual.
Yeah.
So
in GTS and Porsche speak is always, it's more money, but it's cheaper than getting like a Carrera S with all these options. It's kind of almost a performance value model.
Yeah, and it's like basically a turbocharged GT3, like in essence, like the idea of it, and it's a little more sporty kind of than the Turbo S. It doesn't have the same performance, but the idea of it is more sporty. This is kind of a similar spec to my car that I have, silver and blue, but I looked at it with black, and I just think it kind of looked too like a toy, kind of like too modern, too just like black and blue and boring. This way, with the silver wheels and the silver exhaust, you get kind of a mixture of things. I also went with the carbon fiber mirror caps. They're a cheap option from the factory. And the interior, I did the red GTS interior because I feel like if you're GTS, you want to get that GTS interior.
Right.
It has GT3 seats basically, and the red accents are kind of nice with the blue and the red calipers on the outside. Shark blue is a crazy color now.
It is. It's quite the color.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I just think this car will hold up really well over the years, and you'd never want to get rid of it if you had it.
It's special. It's a special spec. You don't see many like this.
Yeah.
And you won't see many like this. So, speaking of 911, is you already listened to, and I had Tish on. I said, "Oh shit, I should have done a GT3." Well, guess what? Yeah, I still want an F-Type for Christmas. I still want a British Racing Green F-Type R for Christmas. I'm not getting one. However, I did go online and I did build a GT3 because why not? I mean, it's a naturally aspirated flat six that revs to 9,000 RPM, and it has the best 6-speed manual transmission I've ever experienced in a vehicle. Gear ratios are too long, but regardless, I mean, Gentium Blue. Unfortunately, with GT3, you can only get a black interior, which sucks. I do not like a black interior at all. But I went with the red stitching, guards red seatbelts, guards red tachometer, and guards red sport chrono clock. It's also, this one, of course, is the 6-speed. I also got the Bose audio system because I don't know why you can't get the Burmester sound system in the GT3, but the Bose is good enough, I guess. And it's just a beautiful car. I mean, it's a beautiful car. Go ahead.
What? Touring or no? What?
No,
what's
it's
your
not
thought
the touring
process on it? What's your breakdown?
I feel like if I purchased a GT3, I'd probably get the touring because I like the cleaner look. But this swan neck wing is just absolutely fantastic looking, and that's what I went with this. Is the standard GT3. But I mean, if you could get a touring with, like, let's just say hypothetically, normal GT3, you can only get a black interior. Touring, if you can get other colors, touring in a heartbeat.
It would make more sense if they did that, like more like heritage kind of.
Yeah, it would, but they're not going to do that.
I really love that color.
What, Gentium Blue?
Yeah,
it's a gorgeous color.
Rich.
Have you seen it in person?
I may have seen one drive past me here, but I I've not like
I've
been able to like walk around one or anything.
I saw one downtown a couple months ago, just a normal Carrera in gentian blue, and it was a sunny day. The amount of metallic in this paint is insane.
The normal Carreras are not easy to get anymore, though. The waiting list is like 6 months to a year to get one.
Really? I'm sure
Yeah.
a GT3 is longer than that.
Yeah, we're kind of like on standby for the order to go through.
Yeah. Just sitting in a holding pool.
Yeah, I mean, they've completely assured us that we're going to get it and that there's no doubt that we're on the list, but yeah, it's kind of a waiting game.
Right. So I guess, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to move on to the next guest, which will be nobody. So unfortunately, I did not have enough time to schedule stuff with other guests, and so we just have these two guests for the Christmas special. So, but regardless, thank you all so much for tuning in. It certainly means a lot, and from me to you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and we will see you in the new year, sometime in the middle of January for the next season of the Autos Airwaves Podcast. Cheers.